So what can you do to help? Well, certainly diet plays a huge part in controlling your blood sugar levels, and we will talk about that a little bit later. Exercise, as well as being great for mental health and cardiovascular disease, will also help to bring your blood sugar down, as you need that energy from the sugar to exercise. And also drinking alcohol within safe limits, which is currently around 14 units a week for men and women, which is roughly equivalent to around 7 pints of beer, 7 glasses of wine a week. You should stop smoking if you are smoking, or certainly not start. And in terms of your healthcare, you should take the medication prescribed to you on a regular basis and attend your GP or hospital for checks when you are called up. And as a minimum, I would suggest that these should be annually, at least once a year. You will also be offered a flu vaccination once a year, as your risk of complications from influenza is a little bit higher than people without diabetes. And the other thing just to think about is informing the DVLA. This isn't for everybody, but certainly if you're put on any form of medication that is going to affect your blood glucose, the DVLA would like to know, and it's important that you do that for insurance purposes. So what about education and lifestyle? Well, we've put together lots of educational resources to help you better understand your diabetes and the ways that you are able to control it and gain good control. So please do take time to look through those. And in terms of your lifestyle, as we talked about earlier, poor lifestyle choices can contribute to both developing type 2 diabetes and poor control of diabetes. And certainly following a healthy diet, which we will talk about later, and keeping yourself active will help with your long-term blood sugar control, which over time will reduce your risk of complications. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about diet. A balanced diet. What is a balanced diet? Well, our foods are made up of 3 different macronutrients: proteins, fats and carbohydrates, and also micronutrients, which is the vitamins and minerals. And when we talk about carbohydrates, we are talking about both sugar and starch. And when we talk about sugar, we are talking about that white stuff that we spoon into our tea and coffee, or that we might add to cereal, or that we might eat in biscuits and cakes and sweets. And obviously we know that these are going to push up our blood sugar and are not that great for us. We also, when we think about sugar, need to think about naturally occurring sugars in, say, fruit or fruit juices or milk, as these will also affect your blood sugar. And also when we think about starch, starchy carbohydrates, so this includes things like breakfast cereals, porridge oats, anything made with flour, like bread, also rice, potatoes, pasta. These are starchy carbohydrates, and when these get into your body, they will be broken down into glucose molecules. And so people are often shocked when I tell them that there is at least 3 to 4 teaspoons equivalent of sugar in a slice of bread. So obviously if you're having a sandwich with 2 slices of bread, you're looking at around 8 teaspoons of sugar, and that is going to affect your blood sugar. So as well as the sugars, it's important to think about the starchy carbohydrates. Thinking about protein, so this is meat, fish, cheese, eggs and pulses, and also fat-containing foods like cream, oil and butter. These contain little or no carbs, and therefore have a far less effect on our blood sugar. And so, it depends on what we are consuming, how many carbohydrates we're eating, what sort of carbohydrate we're eating, which will lead to our blood sugar variating. And there is also something known as the glycemic index, and this is to do with how quickly the sugar is released from the foods that we're eating, and will have an effect on our blood sugar. And essentially, if you are eating carbohydrates, you are better going for the ones with a lower glycemic index, because these are going to be released into your bloodstream much more slowly, and therefore will have a less profound effect on your blood sugar readings. So what does this mean? So Basically, eating well will help you to manage your weight, control the symptoms of your diabetes, of a high blood sugar, and help you have more energy to be able to get done what you need to. The current recommendations are to choose a source of protein as the bulk of the meal, and certainly you're looking at meat, fish, eggs, cheese, for example, and also to aim for 2 portions of fish each week, such as mackerel or salmon or tuna, and really trying to avoid those foods that are high in starch and sugar, as they are going to have the largest effect on your blood glucose level. So what about exercise? So physical activity can certainly help to improve our diabetes control, as when we are physically active, the blood glucose is taken up into our cells and used for energy, which causes our blood sugar to fall. And exercise can also help improve our body's insulin response, as it reduces resistance to that insulin. So in terms of tips for exercise, you don't have to be going to the gym every day. You don't need to be going to classes and working out and getting horribly sweaty. You should just incorporate generalized movement into your daily routine. Walk whenever you're able instead of getting into the car. If you need a bit of encouragement, consider having a step counter or using your watch to keep a daily goal, aiming for around 10,000 steps a day. Ask somebody to do it with you. Get a friend to come out for a walk with you, and that holds you accountable and means it's also more enjoyable to be out there chatting with somebody whilst you do it. And in terms of the benefits of exercise, as we've talked about, it will bring down your blood glucose, and it also helps to strengthen your bones. It improves your cardiovascular health and also will help to reduce your blood pressure. And as well as that, it makes us just feel better in ourselves. It improves our mood, increases our energy levels and our confidence and our general sense of well-being. The current recommendations are to complete around 2.5 hours of moderate exercise a week, which could be walking, housework, etc., or around 1.5 hours of vigorous exercise a week, where you're really getting your heart rate up and getting a bit hot and sweaty. So that brings us to the end of the introduction to diabetes. I hope that has been useful and has given you a better understanding of what diabetes is, the problems it can cause, and what you can do to best control it and prevent any risk of long-term complications. Please do feel free to sign up to our low carb program, and this, as discussed in diet, can be a really, really powerful and useful way of controlling your blood sugars and preventing long-term complications, and potentially preventing the need for medication if you're able to bring your blood glucose down to normal levels through diet and lifestyle changes. And you can find that advice there on the website given or through that QR code there. So please do get in touch, have a look at our other resources, and hopefully you'll either put your diabetes into remission or be able to maintain excellent control and live a long and healthy life. So thank you very much for listening, and take care. Bye-bye.